All right, thank you. So I'm going to call to order the Caroline County Broadband Advisory Committee meeting, the November 17th, 2025 meeting. Everybody should have received the agenda and hopefully have had a chance to read through it. Is there any amendments to the agenda at this point in time?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I would like to move that we strike the review of VATI projects that have been completed under old business. And since we can focus tonight's meeting on just VATI 2023 East.
Okay. Is everybody in favor of that? Anybody want to make any changes to that? All right, hearing none, it is stricken from the agenda. So are there any other amendments to the agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and take it forward. David, did you want to go over the old business, give an update on the east side?
Yes, sir. So again, we're trying to get a little more granular with the predictions or estimates as far as the areas. So it's a little bit more information, but by breaking it down into smaller areas, I think everyone will be able to see the slides. So we'll go ahead and kick this off. This evening, we're going to talk about the VATI 2023 Caroline East project, which is the one that we're very much in construction with. So in the VATI 2023 East areas, the smaller areas are small divisions of areas that are grouped closely together, and they're indicated by a GCR or a GCV. So in total, GCR02, GCR03, GCR04, GCR05, 6, and 7 are now open for sale. So if you live in any of the areas that are highlighted in yellow on this map, you're urged to call Reggie Spivey with Breezeline Sales at 410-490-6082. You can also, if you live in these areas, go on the website, put your address in, and place the order that way if you prefer. However, just be advised that Reggie can give spot deals that are specific to this project that can save you money for 2 years. So you want to give him a call. Now, he is the Breezeline dedicated sales rep for this project. If you call that number and you get his cell phone, he is probably either on the phone or in someone's home taking an order. So leave a message and he will get back to you. He's very good at returning calls. GCR01 is the area in the Central Point area in east and north of Central Point. This area is awaiting a power meter from Rappahannock Electric. All the testing has been done. The certification's been done. This project, this area is ready to go live as soon as we get the meter installed by Rappahannock Electric. Probably going to happen very soon. I would estimate probably before the next meeting. So that's the reason why you will see later on that we're telling people there may be a broadband update prior to the next meeting. The easiest way to know about those broadband updates is to subscribe to the channel, and you'll get a notification if we have a meeting that is out of the normal loop. GCV 11, 13, 15, and 16. If you live in these areas, you've already seen the construction. There is a lot of activity in these areas. These are projected to be released by the end of December. Again, join us next month for the meeting and watch for those updates. If these areas complete prior to the end of December, we will release a notification as soon as possible. So stay tuned. There's a lot of areas getting ready to drop.
Hey, David, real quick,
sir.
Hate to interrupt you in the middle of this, but I know as we move further and further down, like the Mattaponi Springs Golf Course, I know there's a lot of churches in these areas. if they are businesses, do they still contact Reggie at this point, or does he have a different number for business customers?
I would still reach out to Reggie, and he could point you in the right direction and get somebody. He more than likely would not handle the sale. I've asked him myself about business addresses, but he will refer you to the right person. Maybe even take your information and get it over to them. So okay. Reggie's still going to be your best point of contact. But that's a great point there, Jason, because there are some businesses in this area. So
right.
GCV 17. If you live in this area, it's an area south of Reedy Mill Pond and goes down to the areas that we were showing earlier, connects back with 600. This area is scheduled to be released for sale by the end of January 2026. GCV 14. GCV 14 is an area kind of south of some of those other areas and east of those areas. This project, if it stays on schedule, will be released by the end of February of 2026. Not too far out, seeing as how we're getting very close to 2026 as we speak. We've had a few calls from this area because they are seeing a lot of construction activity. That's GCV 8, 9, and 10. These are scheduled by the end of March, but I would definitely stay tuned because it is a possibility that they will complete ahead of schedule and drop early. So again, join us next month on December the 15th, I believe it is, or subscribe to the channel so you'll be the first to get notifications when we have other areas drop.
Hey, David.
Yes.
I can interrupt again. Can you go back 2 slides? One more. Question I had on this one, 600 keeps going a little bit past that Robert W. I guess that's Duncan or Dunn or what have you road. Does that go all the way out? Does that GCV 17 go all the way out to the King William line, or does it stop there and there's another piece that's going to pick up that area?
I think there's like, I was in that area earlier, and I think there may be one more house down on the right at the county line where the driveway goes off. And I see some construction. It appears that it's going to be picked up off of 600 in Caroline.
Okay, perfect.
But I did see some equipment down there in that area. So
okay, thank you.
GCV 12, it's an area over kind of southeast from Coleman's Mill Crossing, goes up to the railroad tracks, and then Coleman's Mill Road, McBryant Corner, Kemp Corner. This area is projected by April of 2026. Again, they are making good time in 12. However, 12 has had to be redesigned due to the high cost of overhead. So it's currently in redesign. So there's some more work to be done. Right now, estimates are April of 2026. Stay tuned, it could be early. GCV 18, 19, and 20. So now we break that 207 border and start moving into the northern part of the county. Projected to be completed by May of 2026. GCV 21, 22, 23, and 24. If everything remains on schedule and we don't have any delays, this is currently projected to be released by the end of July 2026, leaving only 2 areas, GCV 25 and 26. These will be the end of the project. If these areas remain on schedule, they're currently projected to be released by the end of August 2026, which would complete the project. So as of this evening, Caroline County, Verizon, Breezeline, and the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development have now expanded service to 2,121 previously unserved locations. If you need more information about the projects and where they stand, of course, go to the Caroline County website, caroline.co.va.us, and go to the broadband page that you see right there on the screen. If you have a question, you can click that orange button, which will send a question directly to me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. That kind of wraps it up, Jason, for the VATI 2023 Caroline East part of the project.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments on anything? All right. Hearing none, did you want to go into new business, David?
Yeah, we can go on to new business.
Okay.
The only item in new business is the BEAD discussion, correct?
Correct. We have an update on BEAD and the Board of Supervisors directive.
All right. So we discussed this at last month's meeting, but I wanted to just go through it again in case someone wasn't here or if you missed it. But BEAD is a federally funded grant program, and it's funded by the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021. So it's been funded since 2021. As of this evening, BEAD has not connected any households in the United States, not one. BEAD uses a very inaccurate FCC map to determine eligibility for funding. Of the over $42.25 billion available in funding, Virginia's been allocated $1.48 billion. Now, BEAD would go in and reach houses that have been not been served after the VATI projects. Virginia submitted its final proposal to NTIA, which is a federal agency, for final approval on August the 29th. According to NTIA, there's a 90-day review period. So we're getting kind of close to when we would expect some type of action by NTIA. Hopefully that would be final approval so that funds could actually start flowing. Jason and I, and also we reviewed a little bit more at the last meeting, but there are two areas of concern when we use those inaccurate FCC maps that have been identified by the final proposal submitted to NTI. There's an area in Western Caroline County, which includes Charlesburg Road and Western Partlow Road. That's the first area. So there's one area over in Western Carolina. And then the second area of concern is an area in Central Carolina, which includes Eastern Wrightsville Road and Northern Smoots Mill Road, and then a few addresses on Chase Street and a few other small roads in the area. So those are the two areas that those maps show a pocket of houses with no service. The houses out in Western Carolina are proposed to be served by a company called iWisp. It's a company that is currently operating in Spotsylvania County. iWisp in the past, or has historically been, a provided fixed wireless service. It recently began offering symmetrical fiber connections with speeds up to 2 gigabits per second. So that's 2 gigs up, 2 gigs down. This fiber service is what has been proposed for the Charlesburg Road and Western Partlow Road. So the first area of the two that we identified in this slide, number one would be served by this provider under the proposed agreement in front of NTIA currently. Because this offering provides symmetrical fiber connectivity and is supported by a backbone capable of meeting the required capacity. So not only do you have the 2 gig up, 2 gig down, but they have enough backbone to be able to deliver those speeds. It aligns with the recommendations of the Broadband Advisory Committee and the objectives that have been outlined in the plan for universal coverage. In Central Carolina, now I know the names of the street names on that map are extremely small, but it shows the addresses up on Chase Street, Wrightsville Road, Maple Drive, a few houses back on Winrick Lane, a few addresses on Smoots Mill. This is the area that we're talking about that are not proposed to be served by VADI, but have been proposed to be served by BEAD. These streets have been proposed to be served by Starlink. However, Starlink does not meet the requirements outlined in our adopted universal coverage plan. For this reason, this committee directed me to go before the board and ask for direction from the board. So at its November 13th meeting, the Carolina Board of Supervisors directed this committee to explore alternative options for bringing broadband availability to this unserved area. So basically, I went before the board at last Thursday's meeting and asked, if we needed to find something else instead of the proposed Starlink. And at that point, the board did come back and say, yes, please explore other options. So that's kind of where we're at. We've been directed by the board to try to find a better solution, a more equitable solution. And so earlier today, I did provide BreezeLine with an updated list of addresses that we estimate have been missed in VADI, and those addresses to be included in BEAD. Now, again, just keep in mind that the addresses that we've submitted, because we're working with very inaccurate FCC maps, they're estimated at this point, but as we get closer, we'll ensure that the first house that's not currently served will be the first house on the list right on down the line. I've also requested that BreezeLine provide us with options available to serve these addresses. So why are we here tonight meeting, and what do we have to consider? So if we get back pricing and a proposal from BreezeLine that involves additional funding, then we may have to go for another VADI application. Jason Barlow and myself met with members from DHCD earlier last month, and there is supposedly another round of VADI that would come out in December or January. So that's kind of why we need to be ready, depending on what the response is from BreezeLine, especially if we have to go out with an RFP. It can be a process that was very involved, like Caroline West was in the last grant cycle that we participated in. So there's a lot of work, and we have to be ready as a committee to make that recommendation. However, since Starlink is really the only other option now, I did make the board aware that this committee continues to recommend Starlink as a short-term fix until a better symmetrical fiber connection can be available. So, but short of those two options, really, I don't see a lot of options, but, we're here as a committee. We want you guys to start thinking about that and be prepared. Are we going to have to come up with another solution? Our next regularly scheduled broadband update is scheduled for Monday, December the 15th at 7 p.m. Is everybody okay with that date? It kind of stays away from.
I think so.
It kind of stays away from the holidays. So that's, we'll stick with that date, December the 15th. Just know that with the timing of everything that's going on, we may or may not have a response yet
David,
from this. Yes,
David,
sir.
just one thing to think about. December 15th is the first day of Hanukkah. So I don't know whether we have anybody that would be potentially celebrating that on our committee or not. Do we want to make December 15th just a video update, or do we need to have a full meeting on the 15th?
I mean, that really depends. If we have a response from Breezeline, which I kind of doubt we will that quick, let's just plan on December the 15th being an update.
Okay.
Now, also, while we're talking about an update, we know that GCR01 is getting ready to drop probably anytime within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that'll be before that meeting as well. If that area drops, we will put a broadband update out. We're not going to wait until the 15th to tell you about it. So again, subscribe to the channel so that you're notified of any Zoom updates. Keep an eye on the county website so we can get the information out. So any other questions, comments about anything that we've discussed? Be aware that in that big area of yellow that we showed earlier in the slideshow, we are coming up with some long private roads, long private driveways, and even some driveways and roads that have private property, no trespassing on them. So for that reason, Breezeline's unable to construct up those driveways unless someone on that road reaches out to them so that they can work with construction to get the necessary easements to go up those driveways. There's going to be a definite time frame, and we're still working to determine what that's going to be. More than likely, it's looking like it's going to be about a year after the completion of the project that you will have to be able to contact Breezeline to get that construction completed at the normal no-cost installation. If for some reason everyone on that private driveway or private road decides not to take the service and it's not constructed and the deadline passes, if someone else moves onto that property, the cost could be substantial for construction down that road. Those addresses, if no one opts to have service, then those addresses would have to be removed from the grant, and that could mean that there could be substantial cost to anyone afterwards. So what I'm suggesting is, if you live on one of those driveways, even if you're unsure whether you're going to want Breezeline service or not, maybe you have Starlink and you're happy with it. I will say that the cost per month for the good service with Starlink is substantially higher than what I'm seeing for Breezeline. But there's no contract. So what I'm suggesting is that if you live on one of those driveways, contact Breezeline, get it installed, even if you only use it for a month or two, and then cancel it so that the construction is done. That way, if you decide later on down the road that you want the service or you need the service or you sell the property, that's another thing to consider. If you have broadband service on that road, it could affect positively the value of your property. So it's kind of it's multiple things you need to consider. Also consider that just maybe the next neighbor down the road wants the service, so you want to try to work with your neighbors to make sure that those needs get addressed. All right. Any questions about anything we discussed? We threw a lot of information out there. All right, Jason, that concludes my report on BEAD.
Okay. And then we've already talked about the date, so I really don't know whether we have anything else other than adjournment at this point.
Go back and look at the agenda real quick and make
I
sure.
had that on my other screen and I don't see anything.
Yep. So again, the next meeting would be Monday, December the 15th at 7 p.m. via Zoom, and that will be a video update. If something changes and we do have business that we need to conduct, I'll notify everyone, and we could always meet. But especially with there being possibility of holiday interference, we'll just plan on that being a video update.
Okay.
All right, Jason, I move that we adjourn.
All right.
If there's no other discussion from anybody about anything.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Hearing nothing else, we will see, or we'll at least listen to you on the 15th, David, and for any updates between now and then.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for taking time out of your schedules to come in this evening. And please stay tuned to your emails in case we do have something that pops up so we can get back together as a group. But it does look like it could be a busy New Year's for this committee if things go in the direction that it appears to be going at this point.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, David, and thank you for everything you do.
You too, Jason. Thank all of y'all for your time and everything that you do to help us bring broadband to those people that don't have it. So.
All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.